sector for where they are. And that is why, and I think that is the example that we need to hear from the other provinces and regions where they are.
Etienne, thank you very much. I see our next guest speaker joined us, Mr. Xolile George. Welcome, sir. I'm glad you're here.
Okay, it's not Metala.
I'm going to introduce our next guest speaker, and he will talk to us about local government collaboration for a prosperous community. Mr. Xolile George is the CEO of SALGA. SALGA, with a membership of all South African municipality, interfaces with Parliament, Cabinet, as well as provincial legislature. Xolile's experience in policy, legislation, systems, and program implementation at the local, provincial, and national level spans 28 years, and it's supported by a robust academic background. He holds an honors degree in development economics, an executive MBA, and several postgraduate business diplomas and management certificates. Throughout his career, he has received numerous accolades in terms of leadership and achievements in successfully transforming various organizations. In his current role as a CEO, he has led SALGA to achieve 9 consecutive unqualified audits, 8 consecutive clean audits, and certificates of excellence from the Auditor General of South Africa for excellent financial institutional performance of SALGA. This is quite impressive. Mr. Xolile George, thank you very much. I'm giving you the screen.
Thank you very much, Program Director. It's a great pleasure to join this august setting of the SBI. I would like to acknowledge the SBI President of Business Chambers, Ms. Winda Austin Louvet, the SBI directors present here today, the SBI Business Chamber members present, the SBI CEO, Mr. John Dludlu, our guest, the Telecom Business CEO, Mr. Lungasio. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It's a great opportunity for us as SALGA to share some of the ideas we have with working with you as the chamber partners, particularly in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic that reached our shores in March 2020. As we all know, no doubt, the COVID-19 pandemic found the South African economy that was in a vulnerable state, as it had already suffered 2 consecutive quarters of a recession. As a result, the COVID-19 pandemic deepened the economic crisis. Many people lost their jobs. Many have gone without income for extended periods. Many have lost their lives, and many are going hungry every day. Now, given the extent of this devastation, the economic response required needed to match or even surpass the scale of the disruption that has been caused. We all know the stagnation of the economy that for a long period, coupled with the COVID-19 crisis, has also led to low levels of capacity utilization in various sectors of our economy. A significant reduction in the gross fixed capital formation variable is a troubling development to all of us, given that this is a variable that is critical in sustaining and growing the productive base of the economy. So if there's any drastic declines in capacity utilization of this area, it no doubt implies that investment plans and projects that were affordable before the impact of the crisis face the possibility of not being affordable within a prolonged and subdued capacity utilization. Whilst all these developments tested the South African economy resilient, the country was able to embrace the challenge as still identified opportunities for speedy economic recovery and growth led by government under the stewardship of our president. Fundamentally, Program Director, there is a consensus among social partners that to generate growth and inclusive development, within the context of South African historical trajectory, requires an exceptional form of state. With us at local government, this is one area that we will be focusing on, to continuously build the capabilities of the local state to ensure that it can join in the force around fighting not only the scourge, but to also drive measures to revive our economic redevelopment and reconstruction. So for us to demonstrate a capable state is an important enabling factor without which this plan of the president will not achieve our determination to revive the economy. And our president has communicated our determination as a country in responding to this COVID-19 crisis when he said, we are determined not merely to return our economy to where it was before the virus, but to forge a new economy in a new global reality. We all know as SBI and many other partners that there are 3 phases that are focused on the South African economic reconstruction and recovery plan. And to restate them, I would just highlight what they are and how we will play a role as local government to reinforce the support that is required in this area. The first one is around engage and preserve, which include a comprehensive health response to save lives and cap the spread of the pandemic. We are playing a role in that regard by ensuring that we provide first level of defense in terms of ensuring water, providing sanitation for people to cope with the directives of COVID-19, disaster management regulations, ensure that people who are without shelter, the unfortunate amongst us, we provide shelter and also the livelihood that is necessary for them to pull through these difficulties. The second theme of the focus, as we all know, is recovery and reform, which includes interventions to restore the economy while controlling the health risk. And lastly, the third phase is to ensure that, the third theme rather, the reconstruction and transformation theme, which entails building a sustainable, resilient, and inclusive economy. Whilst we look at all these measures, we think that as local government, to ensure successful implementation of this plan, the following are key enablers that we need to put in place together with SBI, together with many other partners that you work with within the community of chambers that you are part of. As you all know, we are municipalities throughout the country. We have jurisdiction in every area of the country. So therefore, it's very important that if there are any pain points that business feel that municipalities are not playing their part, perhaps today we share with you some of the measures we want to play. And we also benefit from the insight that you would want us to assist in breaking through those barriers, if there are any. These are some of the areas that we think the plan, if it has to be successfully executed along those 3 areas. In our context, we need to work together around resource mobilization. How do we identify areas in our work together in respective areas where you operate to identify areas that are necessary, not only to revive businesses that are ailing, that have suffered immensely out of COVID, but we also identify areas of opportunity that we can mainstream small business initiative. So resource mobilization is very important to us. The second part is around regulatory changes. How do we make sure that together you help us identify pain points that you daily experience as small business community in terms of ensuring that our policy environment as municipalities is revived, is thought afresh in a context of ensuring that we create an enabling environment for the ease of doing business in our municipalities. How to work together to identify the building of capabilities at municipalities. As we all know, many of our municipalities still do not have capacity 20 years down the line to attract competent and skilled personnel in many areas, owing to a number of factors, either a non-conducive working environment or even inability to attract skilled personnel because of the relationship between the payment and the ability to attract from the market in the competitive space. So we still have the need to develop capabilities. The fourth area is around social compacting, to make sure that whenever there's business chambers that operate in our environment, we as municipalities, we become upfront in ensuring that we reach out, we create a conducive partnering arrangement that is not annihilating, but it's embracing of ideas that business always have to make sure that we are partners in an inclusive partnering arrangement. How do we ensure that skills development is critical to support small businesses in those areas, using the resource grants that we have at municipalities around local economic development, but also attract resources from elsewhere. So we stand ready as SALGA to identify areas where you would want us to seek partnership to make sure that through yourselves as organized business in a small SMME sector, you can say to us, these are the pipelines that we can work together to assist communities, to assist new business entrepreneurs that would want to partake in the supply chain systems at Municipal. So we would welcome that as SALGA and also partnering in terms of resource mobilization. The need for us to make sure that we strengthen our collaboration also with yourselves, given the fact that as local government, we have a constitutional obligation in terms of Section 152 of the Constitution to promote not only social development, but economic development. So as much as our primary object is to ensure basic services to the communities, the critical challenge in terms of the macroeconomic complexities of the country, unemployment, inequality, and underdevelopment, they find expression at the municipal level. When municipalities can't collect rates, they can't collect services due, that is always a direct function of inability of citizens to also pay, if it's not a function of poor services that we know some of our municipalities still fail to provide in an environment. So we need to improve the climate of the relationship where we operate and also lend a support in municipalities where a conducive environment has been created. We also need to make sure that we close the gap between organized businesses and local government in many of our areas, given some of the difficulties that business is operating under, and those have been precipitated and exacerbated by COVID-19 pandemic. We all know that also on our side as municipalities, the pandemic has decimated the fiscal health of many of our municipalities. So negative outlook on our revenue performance, no doubt will impact the ability to deliver basic services and address the infrastructure backlog through own revenue. And this will also directly affect the ability of municipalities to provide services at the same level as pre-COVID. So we think that as local government, we need to work closely with business chambers to make sure that we strengthen and refine our business environment, in particular for startups as well as small businesses. We have also noted, sadly, that in many quarters across the country, the relationship has been more adversarial between municipalities and business. And we think that there is room for us to reverse this area. If there are any difficulties caused, there must be a channeling platform, perhaps through SBI and other big business formations, to make sure that SALGA receives these pain points that you go through every day. It doesn't become your localized battle with Mbombela municipality or Klerksdorp municipality or Kimberley, to the extent that your organized formation in that area can identify some of these areas and say through our partnership, these are the areas we would want you as an organized umbrella of municipalities to help us to address the constraining factors that face our members. We will be glad to do that, because we do appreciate that small business are the backbone of the economy, not only generating employment, but providing novel solutions to the many challenges plaguing the country. So in our townships in particular, especially in metropolitan municipalities, we have also noted positive collaborations where entrepreneurs are teaming up with municipalities around startups and more established, who have also harnessed the power of technology to develop cutting-edge solutions that we have seen many of our entities in municipalities utilizing in the context of the advent for the fourth industrial. So we would want to praise you for doing that. And to the extent that we can channel those innovations, we should be able to have regular interface with yourselves so that you can showcase solutions. So when we have challenges around solid waste management, and you do have cutting-edge solutions around improving that, what can we do together? We have also seen some of our municipalities struggling on areas like billing. You might be sitting with some of the cutting-edge technologies that can help municipalities to address those. We have areas where municipalities are struggling to have asset registers. When Auditor General comes up and say, I need to know your asset register, and you find that they are unable to have record management system, right in the edge of the fourth industrial revolution, when we have cloud computing and many other areas. So how do we make sure that we can have scalable solutions that can run across jurisdiction of municipalities in a given district to make sure that you solution us in the context of the challenges facing many municipalities. We do acknowledge that many of your members are finding themselves operating at tight margins owing to the advent of this pandemic. And we think that as local government, we also have an obligation not to place an extra burden to yourselves by playing our part as municipalities to make sure that we provide services at the right quality and do so consistently. We will also, as SALGA, ensure that given the funding model of municipal that relies on tariffs, we also implore our municipalities, especially on the area of property rates, to make sure that if there are increases, we don't have disproportionate increases that are not congruent with the economic recovery phase that we face in our situation at the moment. To make sure that even if there are those, they must be consistent with the inflationary parameters to make sure that we cushion businesses against further distress, given that many of the business members, be they small or large, they are already at the cliff edge due to this pandemic. So we think also on our side, when it comes to pricing, we must make sure that whilst we have an obligation to ensure cost-reflective tariffs, but we don't also add into the burden of driving businesses out of operation. So we're quite excited as SALGA to work with you around these areas, because we are already in some areas where businesses are already owing some of the service obligations they have, be it property rates or utilities, to offer solutions around tax breaks for some of the businesses to make sure that if there's a capital debt, the issues of interest factors are absorbed by the municipality. We've seen many of our municipalities doing that as part of ensuring that they also assist businesses to make sure that the long-term sustainability is not grossly weakened further by the reality that we are all facing. So despite all of these areas, ladies and gentlemen, our municipalities are still facing significant challenges around these areas, given the increasing obligations that they have on taking care of the social basket of services that they have. So what are we doing as SALGA so far around these areas? Quickly, we are looking at areas around partnering around helping small businesses. We have a partnership with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, where so far we've provided vouchers almost to a tune of 4 million rand for small businesses to provide PPEs. That we have done right across. And it's a minuscule amount of money, but given the scale of the problem, it was the only small measure we can assist. Nevertheless, as we start a financial year, we will continue to identify areas where we can target small businesses to partake in this area, especially the informal sector. The second part is around our partnership as the Association of Local Governments South Africa, working with our sister associations internationally, Big M program that we are currently implementing with the Canadian Federation of Municipalities, which is part of the business initiatives to make sure that we work together with the ease of doing business, but also promoting local economic development with building resilience around municipalities. We have targeted so far as a first pilot, the Eastern Cape. About 8 municipalities are benefiting from this program for about 120 million rand to look at areas where there's local partnering around local economic development initiatives to strengthen the business relationship, at the same time ensuring that SMMEs partake in supplying services to municipalities in a sustainable manner. So we are quite proud about that initiative, and we think that based on its lessons, we'll continue to expand and explore in other provinces across the country. We are also looking at an initiative as SALGA to launch a barometer of municipal competitiveness to look at the ease of doing business. And we look forward to working with you so that we can be able to demonstrate in each of the provinces, in each of the cities, how do we work together to make sure that we can rank municipalities and say, this municipality in Bloemfontein, this is what it is doing in terms of its ease of doing business relative to Cape Town. This municipality in East London relative to Port Elizabeth, what is it doing? How do businesses get attracted to know that if they put up a development application to put up a fixed capital asset in a particular area, they are not exposed to a 3-year approval process that is unreasonable, but we look at shortening those periods. So we want to put municipalities in a barometer so that they can see how is it possible that in Kimberley municipality, it takes them 36 days to get approvals across the value chain of the municipality, whereas in other area, it takes 120 days. How do we shorten that so that we don't only deal with the red tape, but we also roll out the red carpet, from red tape to red carpet, to make sure that the ease of doing business is understood by all players. At the same time, we benefit from your counsel about how do we improve some of these areas. So these are just but some of the ideas that we want to work with you and make sure that we will continue to communicate policy intentions of government. For instance, we're working with the Department of Small Business Development, where they were driving the national package of vouchers for relief for small business, where we have identified a number of data points around spaza shop, informal traders, to mention by the few, and submitted that to the Small Business Development to make sure that if they have to target relief measures, at least from across our municipalities, they have received this data, and we're working very well with all of them. So in closing, Program Director, we look forward to work closely and collaboratively with the SBI to strengthen the partnership of local chambers in our municipalities to ease the regular burden that creates barriers to small business in municipalities. And we also want to work closely with you to create an enabling environment for access to support measures for small businesses and to receive much support, needed support for small businesses in supply chain processes of municipalities. On that note, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. Are there any questions? We have time for a question.
Sorry, Winda, I'm just missing the hand up here somewhere. I can't find it. Sorry, I've been listening so deeply to what the gentleman was saying. Now, may I say something now or not?
You're welcome, Sharon.
Thank you, Winda. Sir, thank you very, very much. I think that was extremely interesting, and you targeted Kimberley, where I am, which I really appreciate it. I would like to find out, Kimberley, and I'm sure you know, sir, is in dire straits at the moment when it comes to our municipality. The rumors are going around that they're possibly going to be under administration within the next month or so. We have absolutely no service delivery, and when I say no, I mean none. Nothing. If it rains in Kimberley, refuge doesn't get collected. Sewage is just all over the streets. All over, in every area. I don't think there's an area where we don't have sewage. Water gets taken. We sit days and days and days without water. 2 weeks ago, we had almost a week and a half where we had no water. No notification, no nothing. Nobody's given JoJo tanks. It's absolutely shocking. The tuck shops, illegal tuck shops that are just being put up in business, not in business areas, in residential areas. And there's no approval, nothing, but nothing gets done about it. And we can speak and we can ask and we can do whatever. I can speak for almost an hour on all the issues that we are having. And our biggest problem as a chamber, the amount of businesses that are closing due to the high rates and taxes that the people are actually paying for, and we're getting no service. Every business just wants to get out of Kimberley, and Kimberley is the capital of the province. It's absolutely shocking to hear the amount of businesses, as I say, that are leaving, and not just businesses, private people, sorry, that just don't want to stay here anymore. They just say they're leaving. They love the city, but we cannot work like this. We're not getting, no street lights are working, no fountains being cleaned, nowhere, and I'm referring to the whole of Kimberley at the moment. So I can speak for a long time on that. I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. Our Auditor General also gave us a very, very, very disturbing audit report, and nothing has been done about that neither. It's just been like shoved under the carpets. We don't know what to do. So I'd love to get a
Thank you, Sharon. I don't know. Let's get opportunity for another question before Mr. George answers that. Lapis, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, Chair Lady, thank you so much for the opportunity. And good to meet you eventually, Mr. George. the question I have, well, firstly, I want to make a statement and then a question. This organization and most of our chambers that belong to the SBI, due to, let's use the politically correct term, the legacies of the past. We look the way I do. We're white, unfortunately. A lot of us are Afrikaans speaking, unfortunately. And that creates an impression. And I have found, and some of my chamber members and our other chambers have found that local government, we're talking about municipalities here, there's a general unwillingness to actually meet with us when we actually want to approach the local government bodies from a point of offering help, offering support, bringing skills to actually support the factors of service delivery where we have got expertise and we can help. You've said that like payments and collection systems and things like that does have a negative influence or impact on councils to raise funds, raise money. And yet, when we try to approach these organizations, a lot of time we are finding dismissive attitudes, even aggressive attitudes. So is there somebody in your organization that if a chamber in a specific area has got a problem and local government refused to actually engage with them and just listen to what we want to bring with what help we can offer, to actually then, for lack of a better expression, facilitate and manage this type of meeting and be a party involved from a neutral point of view? This is not politics. This is about helping the community at large. Is there anybody in your organization that we can then approach that will facilitate cooperation and just the opportunity to listen to what we want to offer and that what we can do? We don't, us as an organization, don't really want to follow the route that's now been taken in Costa, where there's court cases and things like that, that effectively takes away the powers of the municipal people, the employees there, the people that actually needs to do the job, that things gets taken away from them and it be placed in the hands of the private sector, where we as an organization want to voluntarily bring the help, the knowledge, the skills and expertise to help the whole entire community, not just our small business community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm going to give opportunity for the questions before Mr. George responds. Clippies.
Good morning, Mr. George. I'm Clippies here from the Golden Triangle Chamber of Commerce in Sedibeng. And more specifically, I want to talk to you about Mfuleni. Exactly what Lappi said, I don't want to reiterate what Lappi said. And Sharon, yeah, we're already under administration and we're now with our third administration team here in Mfuleni. Mr. George, my question is the following. How can we as a business chamber interact with SALGA directly to help us to influence Mfuleni and the change? We're sitting with a situation in the Vaal where we as business are seen as the enemy. And I think coming from what you said, we need to change that enemy status to cooperation status. We are willing, we as chamber has offered many, many times support. We spoke about the billing system. We've got, everybody knows about a silver system. The Minister Sisulu is busy with that. We are willing to support and help, but we just seem not to get to the point where our help is being accepted. Although we have a relationship, I can contact our municipal manager. I've got an excellent relationship with the lead administrator, Mr. Guberto Martins. But until such time, the people, and I want to say that the corrupt, useless people in Mfuleni is not being replaced by competent, trustworthy people, nothing will change. And how can we have set up a meeting? And I would really urge you, if possible, that we can set up a meeting between ourselves so that we turn Mfuleni around. We are in desperate need of your guidance, sir. Thank you.
Clippies, thank you. Hazy view, Andre.
Thank you very much. I think we can look forward to the association with Mr. Xolile George. Pardon my pronunciation. Thank you, and I think there's a bright future now with him on our side. In Hazy View, we have a good relationship with the municipal manager. So I'm looking forward to using the invite from yourself, Mr. Xolile George. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Rose, that's the last question we're going to allow.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Mine is not really a question. I just want to appreciate the presentation by Mr. George and appreciate that as business, I'm the president of the Goldfields Chamber of Business. And I really want to appreciate the fact that as business, we have to work together on resources with the municipalities and also provide solutions that in areas where the municipalities seem to be struggling. For example, my company was appointed by the municipality to do a township establishment. And I then used that opportunity to say to the municipality, when you send out work to be done, you tight it so much, and in that way, don't allow enough development within the communities. Rather allow such opportunities for business to then add other areas that can benefit within the same project and use the resources that you have already allocated for a township development to then visit what about tourism, what is happening with the infrastructure. So in areas where the municipality was struggling, it was easy for business to then say to them, you are structuring things wrong, so that in future, when they look at the same giving out same work, they then know how to then broaden it. So as business, I think let's use as much opportunity as we can to educate and share the knowledge that we have with the municipalities. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. We're not going to allow any more questions. Mr. Dort, if you want, do you have a response?
Thank you very much, Program Director. I have also read the comments on the chat box as I'm listening. Indeed, all the points you have raised, the 5 speakers, are very valuable points. What they all do, no doubt, is to reflect the willingness on your side to avail your capabilities, to avail your expertise, to avail your insights on how we can improve the relationship between municipalities and your local chambers. So as the body that is responsible for all municipalities in South Africa, you are talking at the right platform. We know in each province, there's been good work, good case studies where municipalities are working closely with their local chambers. And we have been facilitating that as SALGA through our Economic Development Unit. We have even gone further now to establish what we call Municipal Trade and Investment Division. It is fairly new. It's not fully capacitated because it was established in November last year. But the intention is very clear, is to place as a locus of conversation between chambers and municipalities to make sure that we do what municipalities are obligated to do. One of the founding provisions of the new system of local government in our country is what we call developmental local government. In a simple language, it is about local government working closely with communities in its area to find answers to challenges that it faces. And it defines community, not only people who are active recipients of municipal services, but key players in the municipal space, be it business, be it religious groups, be it NGOs, be it labor organizations, and. But it obligates municipalities to work closely with those. So we've seen some of our municipalities, they do have a structured relationship with local chambers of business. So to be able to enhance that as SALGA, we would definitely appreciate a high-level conversation, maybe with the board of directors or whoever is mandated by the board of directors to say maybe the CEO and maybe other directors can give us a sense of the prevalence of the state of affairs, take into account the pain points that your members are feeling at the moment, ranging from Kimberley, ranging from Mfuleni, ranging from other areas, almost like in a quadrant. We do face difficulties on the regulatory approval, the registration of small business licensing, and. That could be one chamber of the pain points you have. The other one could be around the approval processes, the unreasonableness of the delays that you experience, or any other area that falls into the regulatory space. It could be absence of bylaws that prevent people placing things from everywhere without regulating how to formalize the informal setting that exists in our own areas. It could be about new refinements on existing laws that already exist, to say, we want to work together with you in influencing the discourse around reviews of legislation, reviews of policies that are targeting the SMME sector. Others could be around stakeholder relations in municipalities, where you are saying you are facing hostilities because you get judged on the basis of historical reality, that this could be a chamber that is more reflective of this and this. Municipalities are responsible for ensuring that, regardless of the nature of the institution that is there, the transformation imperatives should be part of the responsibilities to aspire for, but it should not be used to put aside certain chambers on the basis of perceptions and other historical realities. So we've got to get into a reconstructive path together and make sure we strengthen those relationships. At the core of that is participation of business in what municipalities do annually, and that is referred to as integrated development planning, IDP planning sessions, where all stakeholders are required to come. So business could say to municipality, we would like to have a sector-focused conversation with you as a eThekwini municipality, or as Mfuleni, or as Kimberley, or Polokwane. These are the areas we would want to influence you on, or we would want to secure support from you, or we offer our expertise on the table to guide you around this area. So our job as SALGA will be to ensure that where there's tension points that exist, we become aware based on your advice. Please facilitate us through here in Northern Cape. We need your support around this area. We have offices across the country, and we'll make sure that through our provincial offices, we are going to place those challenges you face and make sure that SALGA can play a facilitative role to bring together the structure of the relationship around supporting small businesses and any other big business in the local chambers to work together with the municipality. So I guess the first point is to make sure that ourselves, we have a structured meeting at a high level nationally, and based on that, it becomes a guiding point to any of our respective provinces, so that much granular data can come from yourselves about the areas that you would need us to solution each other on. Otherwise, it is not a favor conversation. The Constitution obligates local government to work with local partners, whether they are business, whether they are social players, whether they are labor, and so on, as part of driving developmental local government in our country. So we will do our part to make sure that we continuously influence using this new unit of SALGA, of trade and investment, to facilitate those interfaces at local level. I would also ensure that the head of that unit, I provide through my office his email as well as his contact numbers to make sure that he must immediately facilitate this conversation. His name is Mr. Zamo Kwala, that has just recently joined us. He was the provincial CEO of Trade and Investment KZN, and is now heading our municipal trade and investment support for cities and local municipalities. So I'll ask my office to supply that to the Secretariat and make sure that it is available to all of you as a conduit point to maintain the relationship with SALGA, including constant feeds on things that you will be facing from time to time, so that we can create a healthy platform of conversation. And where necessary, certain things can be escalated to me if they require any form of intervention, be it policy or political. I'll be able to handle that and make sure that we can solution the difficulties that you may face from time to time. I would also think that it may be important for SBI to arrange in partnership with SALGA, once we tighten our relationship, to make sure that maybe we can establish once a year a local government SBI summit of local authorities to be present, where Small Business Institute will be able to showcase some of its capacities, areas of sector services support that you have, and some of the difficulties you face at municipal. So that we on our side as SALGA bring municipality, we can do it at a provincialized scale first. If it's necessary, maybe pilot one province together, Gauteng or Northern Cape or Western Cape, and look at all of those areas so that we can lift up the issues to surface and create a platform that makes sure that municipal leaders, when they go back, they can have a sense of appreciation that at the core of this relationship is about the bottom-up strength, about reconstruction and development agenda of our country, and at the core of the reconstruction phase of our economic challenges, small business are no small players in this. They are vital cogs in ensuring that we can all ensure an inclusive growth. At the same time, we don't stifle initiatives that are central to building the blocks of our economic recovery agenda as a country.
Mr. George, thank you very much for addressing us and sharing the business and the plans and the programs of SALGA with us. I think it was a great presentation, especially according to all the questions that was asked. And I'm glad to also realize if we want to have inclusive economic growth in our economy, business chambers have to work closely together with their local municipalities. There's no other way doing that. And thank you for opening the door. We're looking forward to having a much closer working relationship with you and your department, and the assistance that you can give us to establish effective collaborative relationship with our municipalities. And I think for the time this year, we haven't answered all the questions, but I have introduced the guidelines that we've written on collaboration with municipalities, and I think that will be a huge benefit. But we'll definitely take you on that summit, especially on the provincial level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and good luck for the rest of the session.
Thank you. We are a little bit behind program, but I think this was quite an informative and a necessary session.